Yeah, hey guys, so this is Romie here for the recap of Family Therapy with Dr. Jenn, Season 1, Episode 6, Body Language. The episode starts off where the previous episode ended, having to do with New York being taken to the hospital by Dr. Jenn. Dr. Jenn is worried about the fact that New York is pregnant and she's feeling some anxiety, possibly stomach pain. So it's like, okay, I have to take her butt to the hospital now. So she goes and does that, and everything is okay. New York does have to decrease the amount of stress that she has in her life as of now. And you know it's going to be pretty hard to do since she's in this really hardcore therapy boot camp thing with her mom, with Sister Patterson. And she was just saying how even though all of this is a lot to handle in general, she appreciates Dr. Jenn. And also just the fact that Dr. Jenn is there to really kind of give her the support that she wished her mom was giving her. And I'm just like, oh, poor New York. But aside from that, this isn't about them this time. This is about two families. Bam and April, or technically the same as Brian and April, and also Brittany and Brianna. And we'll start off with April and Bam. April is an enabler. We already know that April is an enabler. She's a big enabler. And as a result, that's why Bam has continued to do what he's been doing, because she doesn't really get the concept of she's causing him to, one, kind of rebel, because she's still treating him like a little kid and she's trying to protect him. She's trying to do everything for him. He doesn't want her to do everything for her. He's a grown-ass man and he's trying to acknowledge that, but she just won't let up. And Dr. Jenn's trying to stress to her the way how she's handling her relationship with her son isn't normal. And she was like, okay, so tell me a little bit about your childhood and your other siblings. And she was like, I think she said she had 3 or 4 of the siblings, and to be honest, they never had an argument. And she was just telling April, that is not normal. That is not normal. I don't know who told you this, but that's not normal. It's not that you guys never disagreed with each other's opinions. It's more so you guys are probably so afraid or never taught how to really vocalize frustration and your opinions, and so as a result you've never had to do it in your personal life. Instead of you going head on with your son as far as the issues and the conflict that is there, you decide to go right around it and you let it happen and you do everything you can to avoid it. That way it's almost like it's not even real. It's almost like it's not even there. As long as it's not there, as long as you really don't have to deal with it, you're okay. And that's a problem. So she was like, oh crap. And she was like, if you keep doing that, your son will die, essentially. And of course, that's her nightmare, for her to die before her son, especially so early. Now, we get to this pool scene, and April's doing it again. April made a promise to Dr. Jenn that she would work on her going and just doing things for people without them even asking, in this way that she's doing it though, because April noticed that, okay, it's hot out, and she figured, why not go and make smoothies and do all this stuff? And that's great and all, but April has to realize she's going way out of her way to do things to please other people. I understand that makes her happy, but if you notice, she only did that right after Bam was kind of giving her the cold shoulder, or kind of brushing her off. That's when she went, instead of kind of speaking with him like, yo, you're not going to talk to me like that, she went and made people smoothies. She was like, oh, it's hot out. Let me go and make them smoothies. And no one really said anything about it except for Michael. But Michael did say something about it. Michael was just like, you know what? I noticed that April, she's not doing a great job with focusing on her. She puts the focus on everyone else except for herself. Bingo! I'm like, damn it, why is Michael hitting the nail right in the head? What is going on there? So they bring in this new doctor. Her specialty is, she was there when they were taking their photo shoot. They had this photo shoot and they weren't told how to pose. They were all just told, okay, whenever you feel it, take a pose and then the pictures will be shot. And their body language will determine how they feel about each other. I'm like, damn, that's really interesting. Because of course she was saying, you know, the ones that we already know, well, you guys may not know, but for example, you have to watch out for what people do, not what they say. Because for example, if someone's like, oh, do you look pretty today? Do I look cute today? It's like, oh yeah, of course you look cute. No, that means no you don't. No you don't. Or it's like, oh, I think they're saying when you're trying to hide something, a lot of times kids smirk. And it's just like, no, why do I do that? Like, you see that right there? That's deception. And just a couple of other things. So she went around and she went with Dame and his family, so the Dash family, Damon, Jeremy, and Bobby. She noticed something very important, that they all, well, one, like I said, Jeremy was smirking, and so he wasn't taking Damon seriously, because he was looking at Damon, and Damon was actually relatively open in the picture, but Jeremy was just like, yeah, you think you're hot stuff, you think you're big man on campus. Not really, buddy. But when he looked, but when they were all posing, they all had their right elbow up, and she was just saying how when people like each other, really like each other, and like being around each other, they start to mimic certain behaviors. So the fact that all three of you essentially did the same type of pose or positioning, that means that you do like each other. And I think they are all caught off guard, like, oh, okay. I thought maybe love, but it's like, oh, like. I'm like, all right, we'll take that, we'll take that. For Dina and Michael, it was crazy because Michael was looking at Dina lovingly in every picture, in almost every picture. Dina wasn't paying him any mind. I think Dina made eye contact with him once or nada. I think maybe once or twice max. So it was just like, you know, Dina is in her own little world, and then they also showed this picture of when she was younger with one of her children, and they were saying how, notice how Michael, again, is positioned inward towards Dina, and Dina has her arm out, kind of telling Michael, no, too close, while of course really embracing the child. And it was just like, oh wow. But it was like, there's definitely something there. She's trying to deny it, but there's something there. And I'm like, yeah, I can see that. They're not really over each other, whether it's wanting to get back together or just having to work out their issues. Oh. What else happened? We had, of course, the sisters, Brittany and Brianna. What happened with them was that Brittany was doing her usual position of kind of louting, just like, nah. And they also noticed how in pictures, she was always the odd person out, in the sense that Brianna was in the middle, was in the center. The attention was on her. And even when she was taking her poses, she did the same exact pose that she did when she was a little girl. Just kind of saying, I'm on the pedestal, you know, look at me, I'm cute, type of thing. Smiling, bubbly. Whereas her sister is just kind of like, and it's just like, alright, no one's paying attention to me. I do want attention, but I'm just kind of here for the ride. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. Unfortunately, when they got to, I felt bad for April. When they got to April and Bam, it was like Bam wasn't paying April really any mind for the most part. And April was touching Bam the whole entire time. But as far as Bam's issue is, he didn't take his father, especially his father, seriously. It was like, because he was towering over his father while kind of painting him. And so that was symbolizing the fact that Bam, like I said, he loves his parents, but he doesn't take them seriously. It's just like they're almost a joke, because financially he was a breadwinner. So whatever he said goes. And that was part of the issue, and it was never really addressed. April has this really bad obsession of being very physical with Bam. Like, she was touching him the whole entire time. The whole entire time he was touching, she was touching Bam. And I think Sister Patterson and, what's her name? And Tiffany weren't in there because Tiffany was at the hospital or something like that. Oh yeah, Sister Patterson is also giving her the time of day as of now, and Tiffany's just like, you know what, why is my mom not giving me the time of day? I was gone for a while and she's not even going to say anything. But, so they definitely have some stuff to work out. But she is communicating with people in the house. She did talk to Bam, and it was just like, what's your real name? And it's just like, his name's Brian. It's like, you know what? Of course, professionally, I'm not telling you, of course, what to do, but I would suggest, you know, when you go out of this house, your name is Brian. And I got what she was trying to say. Bam is his super persona that just likes to get drunk and do whatever he wants and get rewarded for it. Kind of like with Tiffany, well, New York. Whereas Brian is the real person who has real general issues, that's very kind-hearted, that people do love, but it's just that we don't get to see him that much. But I do feel bad that April was crying because it was just like, wow, she has an attachment issue with her son and she didn't realize how controlling she is. She didn't realize how bad it was. I found it interesting that Bam didn't want to deal with it, even though Bobby was like, you know, go talk to your mom. What are you doing? So Dr. Jenn, thankfully Bobby went and told Dr. Jenn that April was crying so she could go out there as soon as possible to speak with her. And April was just like, you know what? Honestly, I didn't realize how bad I was. She was like, yes, your son is going to die if you continue enabling him. If you continue trying to control everything. You can't control everything and please him at the same time. You have to be his parent. That's what you have to be. Come on now. Stop it. Every time that you do things for other people, you do it in general to distract yourself from your own issues and what you have currently going on. And you need to stop that behavior. You need to face things head on from this day forward. And Dr. Jenn goes, talks with Sister Patterson. Sister Patterson doesn't want to speak right now. She's just like, you know what? I don't have much to say. I find it interesting that my daughter's speaking to me right now. Things are kind of weird because I genuinely don't think that she's pregnant. I think that I don't feel it. I don't see it. And I'm just in denial right now. And so that's where I am. It's just like, okay, respect that. At least you talked to me. It was cute to see Brittany and New York talk about the fact that, okay, Brittany's like, New York's going to be a good parent. And Brittany's really been trying to be there for everyone else. And I feel like that's what she does in her own personal life. So this is kind of nothing new for her. So maybe that's why she's so good at it. And maybe that's part of the problem. But she goes, reassures New York. She's like, of course you're going to be a great mom. And they do find out that, yeah, she was on Teen Mom. I think she was talking with Bobby or, yeah, I think Bobby, no, Jeremy. And it was like, oh yeah, you were on Teen Mom. It's like, yeah. And it's like, oh, so you were pregnant? Yeah, my sister and I were both pregnant at the same time. She had her baby. I decided not to. And it was just like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's just like, you know, my father wasn't around and he didn't know how to be a father because I think his father died when he was really little, so I don't think he understood how important it was to have a father figure in our lives, especially since we're girls. I'm just like, look, don't make excuses for him because you don't know the full story. You don't know the full story. Brittany and Brianna do not know how to communicate. They know how to communicate with everyone else except for each other. And it's sad. It's really sad because they're sisters and they're supposed to be a sisterhood, a kinship? And it's not there. They're polar opposites and it's very apparent. So Dr. Jenn looks like, you know what, you guys said your mother was the root of a lot of these issues, so let me go and bring her in. And boy, were they not ready. The mom was breaking down because she did not want to divulge what's really going on. Brittany knew. She felt it. She was just like, why are you not trying to tell me something? What is really going on? Long story short, Brittany's father is not, she doesn't share the same father as Brianna. And So the guy that she thought was her father all this time is now her father. Because of, I guess, how he was. I don't know if he was abusive or anything, but things were bad. So the mother was like, you have to go, because if you don't go, I can't raise these girls to be decent human beings. So that's why he left the picture. So they're like, okay, so why didn't you tell us that? I was like, yeah, so, and he's not your father. Not only that, she goes and tells Brianna that your father, her father's dead. And of course, it's just like, damn, how are you playing me like this? And Brittany was over it. Brianna was over it. She was just like, you're my sister. You're my sister. I just need you to know that you're my sister regardless. It's like, it's just too much. Because the mom was just like, okay, shut up. Let me talk, because I need to explain myself and all this stuff. It's just like, you want to be here, you want the truth, that's the truth. That's what it is. Get over it. I'm just like, yo, the mom needs therapy. Forget the sisters right now. Bring the mom in too, because she needs it. I don't care what she's doing right now, but she needs it. Ayanna, fix her life. Please fix her life. Alright, that's all I got for you. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Come back next week. Oh yeah, and how do you like my green screen?